Thinking about a thesis is a pretty, I think it's actually the most exciting part of the whole business of graduate school. The exploration necessary to find a good thesis topic is the most creative, the most exciting, because it's completely, well, feels like at least, completely blue sky. What do I want to do? So I'm going to talk briefly about finding a topic. Now, the big thing about finding a topic is you can't wait for it to come to you. It's just like relationships. You got to go out and you got to look for them. You got to keep your eyes open and really be actively engaged in looking for an idea that you want to have a relationship with. And ideally, because of the nature of graduate students, you can even try sleeping around a bit. You can look at developing more than one idea, and you can play with those ideas. In fact, you should play with those ideas until you find the idea that you really want to be with, because you're going to have to be with this idea for a year, at least. However, while there are lots of ideas out there to play around with, you have to remember that each of our graduate programs has boundaries on what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And so you have to be cognizant of those boundaries and keep your topic more or less within those boundaries, or else be prepared to go and give a vigorous argument to your program head about why you should be able to extend beyond the edges of the boundaries. How do you find those great ideas to hang out with? Well, read widely. Talk to people broadly. A very good piece of advice is to go into the Royal Roads Library, go into the thesis and dissertations section of the library, go to ProQuest, do a search for recent doctoral dissertations on the subject more or less that you're interested in. All dissertations will have a subsection or a section called future recommendations for research. Recommendations for research are what you're looking for. Look for some cool ideas that come out of recent doctorals. Because they always make recommendations. Dissertations always make recommendations. Now, in a more practical way to find a topic, do you owe anybody anything? Like, does your employer, if your employer is helping you fund your graduate work, do they expect something from you? That may be where you find a topic. You want to find a topic, though, it's going to keep you motivated. So you got to talk to your employer about doing some research that may benefit your organization that you're really excited about doing. But that may be a way of finding a topic. Talk to your employer if you owe them something. If you can get permission to do a particular thesis on company time, this is a huge benefit. If you can actually get paid to do your thesis, maybe they're not supporting your dissertation, your thesis research, but they'll let you do some of it on company time. Totally great. Find a topic that your employer will let you do on company time and do it. Some people come into the graduate programs here looking to make a change in their life, or a professional change in their life. So is there a thesis that you can do that will help you to gain the skills that allow you to make that transition? Many students will be looking for those kinds of new skills. So you decide, I want to learn about something like program evaluation. Can I learn those skills as part of my thesis, do a program evaluation, and come out of it with the skills necessary to be a program evaluator? Of course, you have to consider about what engages you. What engages you intellectually and what engages you emotionally. You know, what do you, independent of your employer and dependent of a further career advancement, what do you want to do? What really is exciting? What ideas really just grab you and pull you towards them? Can you make the emotion and the intellectual aspect of a thesis come together and find something that totally grabs you? Many students do that, and you want to keep your eyes open for those opportunities. Is there a person that you'd really like to learn from, that you'd like to work with, that is doing interesting stuff? If there are, talk to them. See whether they have any research that they'd like to see done, and if they would supervise you to do that work, right? Find a good person and offer. That's maybe the most important aspect of going to university. Find good people to hang out with and learn from. Now, as you look around for your topics, there's a couple of pieces of reality that you have to bite into if you're going to be successful at the end of the process. One is you have to have the time to do the work that you want to do. If you have a great project and you're not going to have the time, don't do it. Don't make yourself crazy. Is the data that you're interested in analyzing and playing with, is it available? Can you get it? If you can't, nice idea, but don't waste your time struggling around data that isn't available. And do you have the skills, or do you have the confidence that you can gain those skills to do the tasks? Do you want to ask a question that's going to involve intense statistics? And do you have the skills to do it? Or are you willing to commit the time and energy necessary to learn statistical analysis? So you gotta take this stuff seriously. Finally, I guess my advice is follow your head and your heart, but you have to keep you have to keep it real. You have to find a thesis topic that fits within the program bounds, that is doable in terms of time and data availability and your own skills and abilities. You have to want to live with this thesis idea for a year, and if you can put it all together, you'll have a totally great time.